lose 5-0 to the Minnesota Wild on the day Rocky Wirtz decides to embarrass the entire organization, and he should be taken away from his role as chairman of the Chicago Blackhawks. Yes, on the day Rocky Wirtz embarrassed the organization even more, the Hawks add to it by getting absolutely embarrassed in tonight's performance in the United Center. They followed up a game where they had zero effort on ice, and then they come into tonight's game and, well, zero effort in the second period, costing the team their chance in this game. Because the second period of play is the worst period of play for your Chicago Blackhawks. The Hawks tonight came out with pressure. In the first period, it was a hard-hitting, aggressive game. Hawks had some chances. They couldn't find the back of the net. They couldn't find the back of the net all game. Marc-Andre Fleury tonight probably had his worst game in a Blackhawk uniform this season. He did not have a good performance in net. He got chased after the fifth goal in the third period, went past him for Colin Delia to come in. But as I mentioned today, this is a flat-out embarrassing day for the organization yet again. This season has been a black-eyed for the Hawks and the NHL all year. Well, this year, it continues tonight in a town hall set meeting by the Blackhawks and Rocky Wirtz, with all hostile on reporters and Mark Lazrus of The Athletic and Philip Thompson of the Chicago Tribune. I am going to have a video made coming out tomorrow morning about what happened, because there was a lot to it. But Rocky Wirtz embarrassed the organization, and frankly, the Hawks board should look into maybe voting him out as chairman of the organization, because what he did was uncalled for, and it was a flat-out embarrassing moment again by the Chicago Blackhawks. Rocky Wirtz should be ashamed of himself. The Blackhawks should be ashamed of themselves. The entire front office should be ashamed of themselves for how Rocky Wirtz acted today. But about 2 hours later, because this game was aired on TNT in the United Center starting at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. You're hearing me right. A 9 o'clock puck drop in the United Center for a regular season game between two Central Division teams. Nice job, NHL and TNT, for making us have to start a game that late. Usually a game in the United Center is a 7:30 start. Well, they had to broadcast the game on TNT, and TNT gets the rights to tell what time your team has to start. And we had to wait till the Washington Capitals finished their game against the Edmonton Oilers. And that game leads over and goes into time where the Hawks could have started. And, we end up having to wait basically till 9 o'clock to watch the Chicago Blackhawks in Chicago to play a game. And, did they play a game? I wouldn't say so. It was aggressive in the first period. It was hard-hitting. DeBrincat laid a few players out on the Wild, but it was heavy-hitting hockey. That was it. Couple good quality chances came off on each side. It stayed 0-0 after one. And, we go to the second period. And this is where the floodgates open. Fleury looked well going into the second period. But the Hawks, being the Hawks and the way they play, taking dumb penalties in the second period cost them games. And well, what happened? Hendrik Borgstrom gets sent to the box after tripping a Wild player, and it leads to a power play to the Wild. And well, with 2 seconds remaining on the power play in the second period at 4:53 in the second period, Frederick Gaudreau gets his 4th of the season, assisted by Jonas Brodin and Kevin Fiala, to make it 1-0 Minnesota. And well, the goal scoring is not over yet, because 2 minutes later at 6:56 in the second period, Matt Zuccarello doubles the lead with his 14th of the season, assisted by Greenway and Dublin, to make it 2-0 Minnesota. This goal was all set up because Murphy was getting it back defensively. He lays a hit on Greenway. Greenway comes up with the puck still on the backboard behind Fleury. He gets it to Zuccarello on the doorstep, and Zuccarello wristed it past Fleury. So a tough situation there by Fleury. Defensively, it messed up for the Hawks. Murphy tried to make a hit, to make a play. It leads to a goal going into the back of our net. And, well, the Hawks right there, I knew it. We were done. The Hawks were done. They were depleted. They fell apart. Because the Wild continued to pressure. And, well, at 14:08 in the second period, Kirill Kaprizov gets his 19th of the season, assisted by Zuccarello. What happened on this play was Zuccarello gets into the offensive zone with the puck, and he dekes Murphy down to the ice. Murphy falling, and it breaks Murphy. He slot passed it right to Kaprizov on the slot, and Kaprizov buries it past Fleury. 3-0 Wild at 14:08 in the second period. The Wild continued to pressure, but we have to go to the third period where this happens. The Hawks come out in the third period with a lot of pressure, keeping the play in the offensive zone for the Hawks. They had a couple opportunities to score. They couldn't. But at 10:38, the Wild come back up the ice in the third period. Kevin Fiala with his 13th of the season, assisted by Brody and Gaudreau, to make it 4-0 Wild. What happened on this play? The Wild come up the ice, and Fiala with it just rips one past Fleury, one that probably Fleury should have made a save on, to make it 4-0 Minnesota. And the Wild continue 2 minutes later at 12:02 in the third period. Nico Sturm chases Marc-Andre Fleury with his 8th of the season, assisted by Drower and Rask, to make it 5-0 Minnesota in the third period. This goal chased Marc-Andre Fleury. It was a bad goal against Fleury, and that was what ended Fleury's night, where he stormed off the ice, through the tunnel, breaking his stick, and to the locker room. Colin Delia comes in, makes a couple of saves. Hawks lose it 5-0 to the Minnesota Wild. As I mentioned, this game was overshadowed by the owner of the team, Rocky Wirtz, earlier in the day, by his hostile not answering questions in the town hall style meeting type press conference thing, whatever you want to call it, because it was kind of weird, if you ask me, to Lazrus and to Philip Thompson. Sorry I got tongue-tied, because it was just frustrating. What all happened was led to a Rocky situation in the press conference earlier in the day. it comes to Hawks playing later on, and well, the Hawks lose it 5-0 to the Wild. This game was another showing of why this team should not have done what all they did in the offseason, because we do not own our first round pick. Technically, Columbus does. And well, what all we did continues to make this team in a worse situation than anything, because what GM is going to want to work under Rocky Wirtz after seeing what happened today? Because knowing GM candidate, seeing how what happened, what GM candidate who the Hawks could have been interviewing saw what happened today and so should I even take a chance at a job with this organization? Because what happened was a disgrace. What happened tonight on ice followed up with disgrace. It was flat out embarrassing for the Chicago Blackhawk organization and to us, the fans. I want to hear what your thoughts are on all that happened today by the Chicago Blackhawks, because frankly, it was just a flat out embarrassment. And thank you for watching the broadcast. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And most of all, let's go Hawks. And well, what Rocky Wirtz did was a flat out embarrassment.